A single plant, often pulled and discarded as a nuisance weed, contains more beneficial omega-3 fatty acids than almost any land-based food source on Earth. Ancient Mediterranean cultures revered this succulent ground cover as both medicine and survival food, while modern gardeners wage war against it with herbicides and hoes. The irony becomes clear when examining nutritional data. This despised plant delivers 8 times the omega-3 content of spinach and surpasses even flax seeds in certain essential fatty acid ratios. Traditional healers across continents recognized its cooling properties and anti-inflammatory effects long before modern science could measure alpha-linolenic acid concentrations. Yet in contemporary gardens, it faces systematic elimination, while its cultivators spend hundreds on supplements derived from fish oil and processed seeds. The disconnect between ancient wisdom and modern practice has never been more absurd. Nature provides freely what industry sells at premium prices, if only recognition replaces reflexive destruction. Historical records reveal that Purslane cultivation dates back over 4,000 years, with evidence found in ancient Egyptian, Greek, and Persian texts. Hippocrates prescribed it for inflammation and digestive ailments, while Chinese medicine incorporated it as a cooling herb for fevers and skin conditions. The plant's ability to thrive in poor soil and scorching heat made it invaluable during sieges and famines when conventional crops failed. Roman soldiers carried dried purslane on long campaigns, knowing its nutritional density and shelf stability could sustain them through supply shortages. Indigenous peoples across North America harvested wild stands before European contact, recognizing its value as both food and medicine. The mucilaginous quality of its leaves provided soothing relief for burns and wounds when crushed and applied topically. Archaeological evidence shows purslane seeds stored in clay vessels, indicating deliberate preservation for lean seasons. This wasn't accidental foraging, but intentional cultivation of a plant whose properties addressed fundamental survival needs. Laboratory analysis reveals purslane contains approximately 350–400 milligrams of alpha-linolenic acid per 100 grams of fresh leaves, making it the richest terrestrial source of this essential omega-3 fatty acid. For comparison, spinach provides roughly 50 milligrams per equivalent weight, while most other leafy greens fall below 30 milligrams. The plant's cellular structure stores these fatty acids in optimal ratios with omega-6 fatty acids, creating a nutritional profile that supports cardiovascular health and reduces systemic inflammation. Studies published in nutrition journals demonstrate that regular consumption can improve blood lipid profiles and decrease markers of oxidative stress. The mucilage contains beta-carotene levels comparable to carrots, while vitamin C concentrations rival citrus fruits. Mineral content includes significant calcium, magnesium, and potassium in bioavailable forms that the human digestive system processes efficiently. Unlike supplemental fish oil, which requires industrial processing and often carries contaminant risks, purslane delivers omega-3s through a living food matrix that includes complementary nutrients and protective antioxidants. Recognition begins with observing the distinctive succulent stems that branch close to the ground in a sprawling, mat-forming pattern. The reddish-brown coloration of mature stems contrasts sharply with the paddle-shaped leaves, which grow in clusters at stem nodes and display a glossy, thick texture when fresh. Leaf arrangement follows an alternate or occasionally opposite pattern, with individual leaves measuring 1 to 3 centimeters in length and tapering to a rounded tip. The plant's growth habit keeps it low to the earth, rarely exceeding 15 centimeters in height, even at full maturity. Small yellow flowers with 5 petals emerge during summer months, opening only in direct sunlight and closing by afternoon. Seeds develop in tiny capsules that split horizontally, releasing thousands of black specks, barely a millimeter in diameter. The succulent nature becomes apparent when stems are broken, revealing a crisp snap rather than fibrous tearing and exuding a slightly mucilaginous sap. This combination of traits distinguishes Purslane from toxic lookalikes like spurge, which bleeds white latex when damaged. The herbicide industry identified Purslane as a primary target because its vigorous growth and prolific seed production threatened monoculture crop uniformity. Chemical companies developed selective broadleaf killers specifically formulated to eliminate succulent plants while preserving grass and grain crops. Marketing campaigns positioned it as an aggressive weed that competes for nutrients and water, ignoring the fact that its deep taproot actually improves soil structure by breaking compacted layers. Modern agricultural education taught generations to recognize Purslane as an indicator of poor maintenance rather than an opportunity for free nutrition. The shift from diversified kitchen gardens to lawn-dominated landscapes reinforced this negative perception as aesthetic preferences favored uniform green expanses over functional food production. Commercial vegetable operations viewed it as a contamination risk for harvesting equipment and packaging systems designed for single crop processing. The economic model of industrial agriculture cannot accommodate plants that provide value without requiring purchase of seeds, fertilizers, or pest control products. Consequently, what ancient farmers deliberately cultivated became redefined as a problem requiring expensive chemical solutions. Purslane demonstrates remarkable adaptability, thriving in conditions that stress conventional vegetables into failure or death. Seeds germinate when soil temperatures reach 15 degrees Celsius, making late spring the ideal planting window in temperate climates. The plant requires full sun exposure for optimal growth and omega-3 synthesis, as shade conditions reduce both vigor and nutritional density. Soil preferences lean toward neutral to slightly alkaline pH, though it tolerates ranges from 5.5 to 7.5 without significant impact on yield. Drought tolerance develops through the plant's succulent nature, allowing it to store water in leaves and stems for survival during extended dry periods. Excessive irrigation actually diminishes flavor concentration and can promote root rot in poorly drained soils. Light sandy loam provides ideal conditions, though Purslane succeeds in clay-heavy or gravelly substrates, where other crops struggle. The plant self-seeds aggressively if allowed to flower and set seed, creating perpetual stands that return year after year without intervention. Strategic harvesting before seed maturation maintains control while maximizing edible biomass production throughout the growing season. Optimal harvesting occurs in early morning after dew has dried, but before intense sunlight triggers midday stress responses in plant tissues. The top 6 to 8 centimeters of stem tips contain the highest concentrations of omega-3 fatty acids and tender texture suitable for raw consumption. Clean cuts made with sharp tools promote rapid regrowth from remaining stems, enabling multiple harvests from the same plants throughout the season. Pinching growing tips encourages lateral branching, increasing overall productivity and preventing the leggy growth that develops when plants compete for light. Leaves separated from stems degrade rapidly, losing nutritional value within hours unless refrigerated or immediately consumed. The entire above-ground portion remains edible, though older stems develop a slightly bitter taste and tougher texture that suits cooking better than fresh applications. Washing should occur just before use rather than before storage, as excess moisture accelerates decomposition of the succulent tissues. Peak nutritional density occurs during active vegetative growth before flowering, when the plant directs resources toward leaf and stem production rather than reproduction. Mediterranean cuisines incorporate purslane into fresh salads, often paired with tomatoes, cucumbers, and olive oil to create cooling summer dishes. The mucilaginous quality thickens soups and stews naturally, eliminating the need for flour or other binding agents while adding subtle flavor and nutritional depth. Greek tradition includes purslane in yogurt-based tzatziki variations, where its crisp texture contrasts with the creamy base. Middle Eastern preparations often feature it in fattoush, combined with toasted bread, sumac, and lemon juice for a refreshing accompaniment to grilled meats. Mexican cuisine recognizes it as verdolagas, sautéed with onions, tomatoes, and chili peppers, or incorporated into egg dishes and tacos. Chinese cooking methods include quick stir-frying with garlic, which preserves the omega-3 content better than prolonged heat exposure. Pickling traditions preserved purslane for winter consumption in cultures lacking refrigeration, using vinegar or salt brine to maintain texture and nutritional properties. The stems and leaves can be dried for later use in teas or ground into nutritious powders, though this process reduces some vitamin content while concentrating minerals. Container cultivation allows precise control over growing conditions and prevents unwanted spreading in established garden beds. Pots with drainage holes and minimum depths of 15 centimeters accommodate the shallow root system while preventing waterlogging. A growing medium mixing equal parts garden soil, sand, and compost provides adequate nutrition without excessive moisture retention. Placement in full sun locations ensures maximum photosynthesis and omega-3 production, as shaded containers yield smaller plants with reduced nutritional density. Watering frequency should allow soil to dry between applications, as the succulent nature of purslane makes it susceptible to root diseases in constantly moist conditions. Container growing extends the season in cold climates, as pots can be moved indoors or to protected locations when frost threatens. The confined space limits seed production and volunteer seedlings, addressing concerns about invasive spreading while maintaining harvest potential. Succession planting in multiple containers ensures continuous supply throughout summer months, with new sowings every 2 to 3 weeks, replacing harvested plants. This method particularly suits urban gardeners lacking ground space but possessing sunny balconies or patios suitable for food production. Fish oil capsules dominate the omega-3 supplement market, despite environmental concerns about overfishing and ocean ecosystem degradation. Manufacturing processes subject fish oils to high heat and chemical treatments that can create oxidized products with reduced beneficial effects. Contamination risks include mercury, polychlorinated biphenyls, and microplastics that bioaccumulate in marine food chains and persist through processing. The monthly cost of quality fish oil supplements ranges from $20 to $50 for doses, providing similar omega-3 intake achievable through daily purslane consumption. Plant-based alternatives like flax oil and algae supplements avoid marine concerns, but require processing and packaging that increase environmental footprint and consumer expense. Purslane growing in a backyard patch produces omega-3s through natural photosynthesis, requiring only sunlight, minimal water, and no industrial intervention. The bioavailability of plant-sourced alpha-linolenic acid allows the human body to convert it into longer-chain omega-3s as needed, though conversion efficiency varies among individuals. Studies comparing whole food sources to isolated supplements consistently show superior health outcomes from dietary intake, likely due to the synergistic effects of vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants present in living plant tissues. Recent scientific investigations validate traditional uses of purslane for inflammation reduction, with compounds identified that inhibit cyclooxygenase enzymes similar to pharmaceutical anti-inflammatory drugs. The plant's antioxidant capacity exceeds many celebrated superfoods, with glutathione and vitamin E present in concentrations that protect cells from oxidative damage. Research into traditional Chinese medicine applications reveals antimicrobial properties effective against common bacterial and fungal pathogens. Studies on diabetic subjects show improved blood glucose regulation following regular purslane consumption, supporting historical use in managing metabolic disorders. The mucilage contains polysaccharides that promote beneficial gut bacteria growth, aligning with ancient recognition of its digestive benefits. Topical applications for wound healing receive validation from laboratory findings, showing accelerated tissue regeneration and reduced infection rates. Traditional knowledge dismissed as folklore now finds confirmation through peer-reviewed research, vindicating generations of herbalists and traditional practitioners. The convergence of ancient wisdom and modern science demonstrates that systematic observation over centuries can identify therapeutic properties long before laboratory equipment exists to measure active compounds. This pattern repeats across numerous medicinal plants, suggesting that wholesale dismissal of traditional practices represents not scientific rigor but cultural arrogance. The transformation from weed to welcomed garden resident requires nothing more than recognition and permission to grow. Allowing existing purslane to flourish eliminates hours spent weeding while simultaneously creating a nutritious food source requiring zero additional inputs. The choice to cultivate rather than eradicate represents a fundamental shift in perspective from aesthetic control to functional abundance. Observation reveals that nature provides solutions to modern health challenges without requiring subscriptions, shipping, or corporate intermediaries. The knowledge passed through generations persists in the plant itself, waiting for humans to remember what ancestors knew instinctively. Subscribe to uncover more forgotten plants hiding in plain sight, offering nutrition and medicine that civilization forgot.